Jesse Sussman, right?
Josh.
Oh my goodness.
See, this is why you're crying.
This is why I'm crying. I went down there and I was like, I gotta remember his name, and then and then they told me how to pronounce it, and I already forgot on the
Maiara.
Okay, all right. I'm failing at my job over here. So we have the Disneys and the Knicks and the Double Dipper that decided to
One
do
fit
both.
in both worlds.
Both
I get
worlds.
around.
You get around, right? Yeah. So, and then of course we have Mean Girls, and was it Desperate Housewives? I think.
Yeah.
So you went the
Other
next tier of
ABC Family
Disney.
things. Yeah, I mean, I've been working with Disney forever.
Disney Channel, ABC Family, ABC. You're perfect.
The mouse in the house. He's the one in charge. So, you probably all recognize them from at least something from your childhood. At least. Actually, I have to ask Jennifer. I do have it. So,
Yeah.
I thought of this. Well, Jeff was talking because he's talking. He's up here talking about his makeup and everything.
Sure.
I had to think back to your outfits that you
Sure,
wore
yeah.
for Harper. Was that like your whose choice was that, or was that a character choice, or was
No,
that
if you'll notice, through as the seasons go, the first season, it really was just the typical Disney Channel, the quirky best friend.
Oh.
So I had striped socks, and I had a shirt that for some reason had a ginormous sunflower on it. And then I would have hearts or just normal Disney Channel fare. We did some outfit, I think it had a watermelon on it, a watermelon shirt, and then it just kind of snowballed from there.
Oh.
So we were like, let's do a strawberry thing. So then the whole, it turned into everything was fruit, and then we had earrings and bracelets and all that. And then it just got wildly out of hand. Me and the costume department had way too much fun. So we're like, okay, so this is the car outfit. We're gonna have a steering wheel on my head. We're gonna have actual cars. I think the beef jerky, and then it became jokes. The writers started liking it. So they started making jokes about it. And so it just snowballed from there, which I love that. I have so many cosplayers and stuff come up to me, and they either will cosplay as Harper because it's fun, and then they also too are just you gave me confidence to be able to wear these crazy things.
And you
so
still have one of them.
I have a lot of them. I
was wondering
I've
if you
seen the pen one.
stole a lot. I have the car one. I have the pen one. I have we did an episode where we were cheerleaders. I have that outfit for some reason. What else do I have? I have the one where I have that was a weird joke, where I have a baby onesie, because I'm talking about upcycle. That's the right face to make. But it's about I was well, you can't waste things, and so I just made a dress that I sewed a baby onesie with the booties on. But it was in the opening credits, so that I shake the baby booties. So I stole a lot of stuff.
Well, I don't blame you.
Yeah, well, the marker dress was a controversy because I'll tell this story and then I'll shut up. But because there's two of them. And so there was one at the D23 conference, and then everyone was like, well, I thought Jennifer said she had one. I was like, no, I do, but there's two because they made one for Bridget, who played Julia on the show. I'm seeing by the blank faces, you totally know what I'm talking about.
No, I was listening. I thought there was more. I was like,
No, I've been rambling.
No, you're fine. I was waiting. I was like,
no, but so there are two of them. So Disney has one, and I have the other one.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do they know you have it?
I don't tell them nothing. Because they're gonna come get it. The mouse is gonna sniper me in the neck and then take everything. Oh my god.
Would they would they try to come get anything back?
I don't think. I don't know.
Not-
We don't ever
Oh,
know.
but they will find out. We're gonna keep this between.
Yeah. This is
Totally,
between us.
totally
Yeah,
between
yeah,
us.
Yeah.
Says the camera in the corner.
How much money can I make to send it to Disney?
I've said publicly that I have it. Yeah.
So what do you guys favorite Disney show to shoot, or the thing that you've been on?
Specifically Disney?
Or anything, what's your
I mean, I'll keep it in the Disney family. I would say two of my favorite shows to work on were Switched at Birth and Good Trouble. Switched at Birth, just the cast was incredible, the most grounded, lovely individuals. And I remember reading the pilot to Switched at Birth and thinking to myself, they're never going to make this.
Yeah.
Because at that time, you just weren't seeing stories told from different perspectives. And I just didn't, I hoped that they would make it, but I didn't think they would. And when they did, and it was super successful, and especially in the deaf community, it was really so special to have people feel seen, have their voices being heard in a different way. And then Good Trouble was incredible too, just because the writing was good, and I loved my character. I played this like a girl who was in a cult and kind of brainwashed by her cult leader. And it's like roles that are more interesting and deeper and darker to
Wait,
play.
hold on a second. How did that factor into the high school?
How did
They
what?
went to, it switched to birth.
No, these are two separate shows.
Oh, Good Trouble was the cult. Okay, and that's why I was like, wait, so they're just in high school and there's a
And then
cult
suddenly
leader?
there's a
And I was
cult.
like, I'm like, what are the Riverdale? Get out
Can
of
you imagine
here.
there's just like this crossover? Like, no.
No, that felt a little too Riverdale.
totally
Okay.
separate
That's
shows.
I was confused for a second. Thank you for
Yes,
clarifying.
absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so those were my favorites.
So Josh, what have you done that was your favorite?
For Disney, I think I've done like 7 or 8 things with Disney and ABC, but Wizards of Waverly Place
Okay.
was my favorite. Everyone was so nice.
I'll pay you later.
So welcoming, and it was
Yeah.
just a really, and you don't always get that. Usually people are nice, but sometimes, but on Wizards, everyone was so nice.
Mhm.
And it was just a really warm environment, and whenever I was there, I felt like I was treated like family, like I was part of the family, even though I was a guest star.
Oh, okay.
And it's also a really good show that holds up. Like some of the shows I don't necessarily watch, but I was on it and I watched it and I was like, this is great.
Okay.
And so I'm very fortunate and privileged to be part of Wizards of Waverly Place.
You know, it
You
was
were
actually
privileged to have you.
kind of funny that right before coming down here, I was on Paramount Plus and just happened to start playing shows, and because I'd fall asleep in my recliner, you know, sitting there, and I wake back up, and I'm in the middle of just a random Drake and Josh episode actually, and I think it's the episode where like Drake and Josh, like they're like no longer friends at this point, or like they're having this rivalry, and then there's this I think, and I happened to land on the scene as I'm waking up to you playing just a character that couldn't speak English or something. Yeah, that guy.
Mumbling.
That guy.
English.
And I was like, oh, I'm gonna meet that guy in like a week. That was so funny.
Good timing.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
timing. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I saw your breakout role right there of that guy. So how was that your Drake and Josh? Did you do other things on Drake and Josh? Or
I
was
did
that
2 episodes of Drake and Josh.
Okay.
So it was that one and because Drake and Josh are usually partners, but they had a
Okay.
big fight, so Josh got a new partner and Drake's like, who am I gonna work with? And the teachers, like, they're gonna work with Clayton. And even
That's
the
right.
nerdiest of nerds were like, Clayton,
Clayton.
nerd. So which the fans loved that. Oh my god, even the nerds, how nerdy is he gonna be?
Yeah.
And Drake's like, and I don't know what to do. Josh normally does everything and I just watch. And I'm telling you, oh, you do your experiment, you mix the stuff and the stuff. And, it was, but I'm not Drake and Josh, because my name is Josh, and then there was the other Josh Peck, who played Josh. Whenever you hear your name, you look up, and it got very confusing. Whenever I heard the name Josh, it was never me.
But you were ready to go.
I was always, yes, and so then I told the director, oh, sometimes people call me Jolly Josh, thinking
Yeah.
and then the director dismissively said, no, this is Jolly Josh, about Josh Peck.
And Josh Peck was like, don't call me that.
I don't know,
Yeah.
who knows? But I was like, no,
You're like, I'm trying to help you out, dude.
I'm jollier than he is.
It's true.
But maybe the reason they didn't call my name is because I think I did really well each take. So no notes.
No notes.
Okay.
Okay.
But then they brought me back and Drake spit mouthwash in my water, which
Okay.
was kind of traumatizing. And
Wait, in real life or on the show?
I on the show.
Okay.
On the show.
I'm just like, why? Why?
Yeah, but that was
Drama.
Was that one episode or 2 different
the
episodes?
2 different episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the most exciting thing because before that, as an actor, I would audition for things, and that was the first time I got asked back on a show.
Oh,
And that was
okay.
just such a delightful feeling because usually
Okay.
I audition for everything. It's, oh, they asked me back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you like working? So since you've worked for the mouse and the slime and the Nick, like which one? Do you have a preference on who was who had the better like shows going on at the time?
Oh.
I'll give Disney the edge. Disney was better than
Okay.
Nickelodeon. Yeah, but
Again, I'll pay you later.
no, it's really. No, I enjoyed Disney a lot. Nickelodeon was very. It was a good experience. It was my first time. I was just excited to be there, and that was Drake and Josh is the only live action Nickelodeon thing I've done. I've done voiceover for another Nickelodeon show that's on
Oh,
Netflix
okay.
that we recorded at Nickelodeon Studios, which was really cool. But no, Disney has the edge. I love Disney. I grew up watching Disney, and it's like I'm on Disney Channel. I grew up watching. watching this, and now I'm here. And I didn't have that with Nickelodeon.
Well, and they did, they used to have that, I remember they had the mouse segments, or you draw the ears with the wand,
yeah.
I think, yeah.
You did that too, right? Yeah.
But now, probably something you can't compare to like the Nickelodeon slime, though.
I always
the
wanted to
slime
get
is
slime.
iconic.
Yeah.
I was always a Nickelodeon kid too. I liked both, but I just I thought Nickelodeon was a little edgier.
See, I was a Cartoon Network kid. That was my jam. I was a big Cartoon Network person.
Yeah.
I got slimed by Jim Carrey.
I mean,
What?
come on, that's
Wow.
Yes. Oh my god.
incredible.
Well, it wasn't me personally, but I was in the audience at the Kids' Choice Awards.
It's all in the way you tell the story.
So Jim Carrey's on stage, and then I guess I'm in the danger zone,
Okay.
and
Splash
he's
on.
splashing slime,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, Guess gave me a free outfit to wear to the Nick Choice Awards, and
No.
I was all excited, and I was like, oh, and even though this is Jim Carrey's slime,
But
it's
they,
like,
okay, but they have to know. If
Yeah.
you're going to the Kids' Choice Awards, like
That
that's
there's a
an
chance.
occupational hazard.
well, that's an occupational hazard.
Did they understand?
Yeah, it wasn't an issue. I was just
Okay.
scared for nothing. So,
Well, that's happy.
It's in the bottom part of the contracts,
Right.
slime, occupational hazard,
yeah, so worry less, don't worry until.
That's
Yeah,
the
that's
thing.
what happens.
Oh, my anxiety just spiked a little. But
But you were good.
yeah, it's probably televised. You
Yeah.
can see it if you YouTube Kids' Choice Awards 2011. Yeah,
Okay.
you can see Jim Carrey doing the slime and not caring who he gets dirty.
Oh, well, you can't. Of course, he's just
Jim
Jerry.
Yeah,
He's just ripping.
yeah, Jim.
Do you have any questions for him?
No.
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 Well, no, because I don't know.
Okay.
I can't think of any
Oh.
in the moment.
That's all
So you guys still, you guys, any of you still acting in any current projects, or?
Yes, yeah, I think we're all still acting. I directed my first feature film that I co-wrote and that I'm in.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that's coming out in February. It's a very dark psychological thriller about toxic relationships. So that'll be out then. And then I wrote something else called FML. That was like an action comedy miniseries that she's one of the leads in.
Ooh.
And then we're actually working on some comedy sketch shows and stuff as well. So
Oh, wow, that'd be fun.
yes,
That's moving.
yes, yeah. We we both auditioned for SNL over
Oh,
the summer. Like we
yeah.
sent in audition tapes. And it was the most fun I have ever had during an audition process.
Yeah, it was a very
We basically
fun
just
audition.
spent 2 weeks like writing sketches
And, like,
then
characters.
and
Yeah.
performing them, and we helped each other out with a couple of the of the characters,
Yeah.
and I'm like crying laughing by the end of these. And then
Can I tell them about Sexy Grandma?
sure.
She has a character that any Halloween that she like doesn't know what to do, she just does Sexy Grandma, and it's always a hit. So she did that as a character, and it was so funny. She had like,
I was
balloons? Is that what it
yeah,
was?
I had big sagging balloons, and then I was wearing and a diaper. And like a robe tucked into my diaper, and either a cane or a walker.
Yeah. It was pretty great.
And then
Dan, what did you dance to?
Oh gosh.
No, what was the? Can we say what that song is?
I'm sure.
It was. Is it Nicki Minaj?
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say it was a Nicki Minaj.
Yeah. But then she played like the like basically she's my granddaughter, and she brings over her boyfriend for the first time, and I'm just like hitting on the boyfriend the whole
Yeah, every
time.
time I leave the
And I
room,
tell
she
her to
starts,
like get
being
out of the
super
room so I can hit on the
inappropriate.
boyfriend. it's like really dirty and really
Yeah,
funny.
it was
But
very
yeah.
funny. No, I love Sexy Grandma.
Do you like to kind of like dip into the comedy part more, or do you like focus on serious things?
I love both.
Yeah.
I love really dark, dramatic things, and then I love just ridiculous comedy, as long as it's grounded comedy.
Yeah.
I think actually the Disney show was hard for me at first because it was sitcom, so everything is like larger than life.
And it's like Pixie Stick sitcom too.
Yeah,
so
it's so
energetic.
big, and I prefer things that are just like more real, more grounded, more authentic. That's the situation is funny and the character is funny, but not necessarily over the top.
Right.
So I would say it took me like a full season to get used to just the grandiose nature of things, and then it's fun once you jump into it and like commit to it. Then it's a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about for you?
No, I mean, for me, it's more character based. Like, if I'm really excited about the character, the genre is kind of irrelevant to me. I had an acting teacher a long time ago that she was like, look, there's comedy and drama in everything. You're going to do a disservice if you play just one.
Right.
So to find both. And also in comedy, too, you can't play comedy because it does this thing where if you're trying to be funny, it immediately kills it.
Right.
When you say Josh, like if you're trying to be like do a shtick or whatever, like it just.
Yeah, no, I think if you play it seriously, like I think like Leslie Nielsen in the Naked Gun
Yeah.
movies did
Yep.
it so well, or Airplane. Like my favorite definition of acting is living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. So if the situation is funnier, but you just play it as though it's real, and then that leads to the humor. You don't have to try to.
Yeah. You can kind of take the little pieces that aren't supposed to be funny, but they are funny, and then you can kind of exaggerate that a little bit.
Mhm.
That's kind of the way comedy is really funny to me.
Because
Things
life
that-
is funny.
Yeah,
Like
it
even
is.
horrible things can be funny,
Yeah.
but they're not trying to play it funny. Like it's like when you're watching other people, it's like.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
and I feel like Larry David's a perfect example of that, where it's that situational thing, where it's like things go wrong and just in life,
Right.
and it's his reaction to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I wanted to be on his show, and Jeff Garland on the set of Wizards promised I could be on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh yeah, Jeff promised a lot of things. Yeah.
I believed him.
No, I'm
Hollywood.
sorry. We'll get him.
And whenever I ran into him, he said, "Oh, I'm going to bring you on the show," and then
Yeah,
they had the
exactly.
finals.
Yeah, because that show lasted forever.
The
Yeah.
final season, you're like, there's still a chance.
Yeah, right.
I never,
reboot.
I never stopped believing.
Yeah, but so that's great. It's rather I'd rather live in from a hopeful place rather than being like, nah, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'll say one more thing and then I'll turn it over.
Okay.
I love spoof movies,
Oh,
and so
yeah.
I rewatched The Starving Game.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I love that movie, and I just wanted to say that, like, just say it to you because I've been wanting to say that. I love
Thank you. It was funny because this has been a lot of my career of things that I've wanted to do, and then it's like slightly a different version
Life
of
of
that.
an actor.
I remember reading The Hunger Games and being like, oh my god, I have to play this character, and calling my agents and being like, I need to audition for this movie, like at least an audition. They're like, no, it's going to Jennifer Lawrence. I was like, oh, okay. And then a couple years go by, and then they make the spoof movie of The Hunger Games. And so I still got to play a version of that character. But it was that one was an interesting one because it was just like everything embarrassing you could possibly do on camera. I did on camera. We also shot right outside of New Orleans, and
Oh,
so it was a blast because it was comedy and drama, and the experience was great. But I do have a tough time watching it sometimes. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
It's really
She's like,
weird.
oh my God.
no. It just it was a project that it was very fun to shoot. I don't know if I would do another spoof movie.
So we're watching it when we get back.
No.
I always get that one, and then the one David DeLuise did, the Twilight one.
Oh, did he do the Twilight?
So we just rewatched Twilight. I'm sorry you missed it with Garrett
So
Clayton,
sad.
who will be here tomorrow, and Blake, his husband, and we were watching all the Twilight movies because Blake had not seen them. And I always forget that David plays the guy in the first one, like the boat guy that gets killed. So in the spoof movie, that's what DeLuise does.
Oh, okay.
He plays
Is
like
it Vampire Suck? No.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. That's what
I
it is.
never watched that one.
We're gonna do a double feature.
I can't wait.
Do we want to open it up to any
Yeah,
questions?
yeah. Any questions from out there?
I know it's hard to be the first one.
Right.
Yes, go for it.
What's been your best highlight of your career so far?
Oh, geez, that's a great question. Josh, you want to take it first?
It was very cool or very surreal. I was on stage at the Golden Globes with Glee. They won Best Comedy Show. And I got to go up on stage, and then you're looking out in the audience. Oh, there's Steven Spielberg, there's Johnny Depp, there's Leonardo DiCaprio. And then you go to the after party, and everyone is there, and it's like, do I belong? And then you have Ryan Gosling coming up to you to tell you, oh, I love Glee. Me and my sister watch it every week. Oh, wait, Ryan Gosling, you know who I am? And so things like that, it just was probably one of the most surreal nights that hasn't been topped.
Yeah, that's a hard one to top.
That
That's
was
a very hard one to top. As far as like favorite jobs, it changes all the time, but I always, whenever I get asked that question, I usually say House. Does anybody watch House MD, that medical show?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I was on the first season of that show when I was a kid, and the reason it's my favorite, it was just the first time that I like had a process as an actor. Because normally, like, I'd just go in and I'd just be the quirky kid and whatever, and just kind of do some derivative of myself. But that was the first one where I really had to, because I was playing an obese girl that, of course, it was House, so there had to be some weird medical something. I think I had like some major like I had a pituitary or a thyroid tumor or something whatever. So I'm like a 12-year-old obese girl, so it was all these prosthetics. And actually the people that did the Grinch, Jim Carrey's prosthetics, did the ones on me, which was really cool. And then I have like a heart attack and like all this. So, but basically it was enough outside of myself that I really had to do like some research, and I had to, you know, start to develop my process. So that's why that one's my favorite, I think.
Yeah, makes sense. I think for me, I was part of Amazon, when Amazon started making TV shows, I was one of the first 4 shows that they made. So they basically made the movie Zombieland into a TV show. And it was so much fun because I got to like learn how to shoot, and we were shooting zombies the whole time. And the pilot did not get picked up, but oftentimes in this business, when you shoot a pilot, which is like the first episode to a project, and then they decide if they're gonna make it move forward or not, there's all this buzz around it, like, oh, it's definitely gonna get picked up, and everyone's excited, and they were talking about us potentially just like getting a huge tour bus and shooting the show all over the country, which would have been amazing. So I was so excited, and I was taking over the role of Wichita that Emma Stone played. So it was like the exact kind of tone that I really liked. The show, but it didn't get picked up. But I remember it just being like this really fun moment of like, I really get to do something I love in a place that I love. And I think we shot here in Atlanta, or not here in Atlanta, but in Atlanta. Yeah.
Was it, because it was a few years too before streaming really became a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Literally, you guys, like it was when, because before streaming became a thing, we've been doing this way too long.
Yeah.
Before streaming became a thing, a web series was like, you know, like web series, whatever. Literally, she was 2 years too early.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden Netflix came out, streaming became a thing, Amazon came soon after. So you literally were 2 years too. Now if you book an Amazon show, everyone's like, amazing, wow.
If you think about a web series at that point, you think about like YouTube.
Yeah, it was kind of that sort of, it was just so new that people didn't know. It's like when I mean, I'm gonna sound like a grandmother, which I am, but like, it's like when television came out.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, oh God, television, blah, whatever. And so when it was new, the industry is built of like a lot of, you know, old timers that are very stuck in their ways, and they only move kind of at the last minute. So when something is as new and as like up and coming as her pilot was, like they drag their feet. You know?
Right.
So, but yeah, I still, that one, I shake my head because I was like, oh, just
That would've
2
been so
years
fun.
too
That
early.
would've been
But
fun.
not meant to be. But great question. Thank you.
Any-
Any other questions? Welcome.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're
I'm so curious about audition. Do you enjoy doing audition, or are you nervous?
Oh, that's a great question.
Do you have any
We'll
funny
go
stories?
opposite direction.
I think it depends. I miss in-person auditions because most everything is self-tape since COVID happened, right? So you used to be able to go into the room and then get notes and then feedback, and you could work the scene. And now with self-tapes, you just kind of have to commit to a decision and a choice, like a character choice, and not know and not get any feedback on it, not getting notes, and not know if it, you know, is working or not, blah blah blah. But I also do enjoy self-tapes to an extent as well, because you also get more time to work on it. If you don't like a take, you can shoot it as many times as you want. It depends. I think that nervous energy will come up probably more so if I'm in the room. Like, let's say you're getting really close to the end and it's down to like you and 1 or 2 other people. I think those nerves show up more versus those like the first or second audition. To me, I don't get super nervous, just because we've been on so many at this point, and it just, you never know what's going to happen, and you get used to it. But definitely as it's getting closer to the end.
Well, because also too, like, I always think of auditions as like kind of going to like 7-Eleven and buying scratchers. It is. It truly is. Like, we're literally, there's so, especially now that it's all self-tapes and they can get people from anywhere, like, it's just so many people you're up against, you know? And so it's like, well, throw my hat in the ring, see what happens. So it's like early on, you just don't really emotionally invest in it that much. I agree if like being in the room is a little bit more nerve-wracking, especially when you get closer, because it starts to feel a little bit more like yours, and it's just, because once they're down to 4 people, it could be any of us.
And you could be in a room with the entire network.
Yes.
So there could be 20,
oh my
30
God.
people in the room.
Did you ever go to network with ABC?
Yes.
Okay, do you remember they had this room at ABC when it was ages ago, so hopefully they had changed it. But like, so where they would have a chair, and it it was when I was like 9 years old, 10 years old, so maybe I'm remembering this incorrectly, but I do remember very distinctly just a light right over the chair and then like a black sea of people. Like you couldn't see anybody because I was the only one that was lit, and I remember being like 9 years old being like, this is weird. Yeah, that was actually for Desperate Housewives that I did, because for Terry
so
Hatcher's
I
daughter.
probably had that
Small
as
World.
well,
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I miss in-person auditions, but the things that I don't miss about the in-person auditions is all of us could be in a waiting room,
Oh, God.
and then you could hear the other people auditioning. And,
Why was that the rule? They had to have the thinnest walls.
and that could be so intimidating because sometimes you could hear them saying, that was great. And then what if they don't say that to me? Or sometimes they would give you 4 scenes to learn, and when you arrive, they would say, we're only gonna read the first
The
scene.
worst.
But then you could hear someone, oh, can you read extra scenes? And you could hear who's being asked. So that's kind of intimidating. And the other thing, in person, I would feel so good for an audition, like, oh, that person's there, and they book
Gets in your
everything.
head, yeah.
And then sometimes I would audition against a lot of weird people for whatever reason. I'd go for the eccentric, and and some of them were also weird in their manners, and they would just be. So I don't miss that, but I would rather do in person than do. I know we do self tapes because you don't get to meet the people, and you're just. It's making just a giant guess.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I would go in for an audition, and they would be like, oh, maybe he should, let's also ask him to read the lines for this thing.
Yeah.
I've heard stories of someone who went in they tested for a pilot, and and then a celebrity came, and all of the casting people and producers were praising the celebrity. You're so great, you're so wonderful. And they were so nervous, and they bombed their audition. And then their agent said, what happened? And they said the celebrity came in and they loved them. And they said, no, the casting said the celebrity was terrible, but we wanted you.
Yeah. Oh.
But right now, and I don't know how often you've had this, and I think it's so disrespectful, they'll have auditions that there's no chance that we could get where I recently had something where they have a celebrity in mind or someone else. I just had something and the director said, oh, I gave it to this person, and it was like, well, why did you waste my time?
No, they've started doing this thing where it's like while they're in negotiations with whoever the name is that they want to hire, they'll still audition. Like I know I did one recently where I literally was leaving the self-tape because I was taping with a friend of mine. I was leaving the studio and my manager called me and she's like, tell me you didn't do the self-tape yet. And I was like, I literally just finished doing it.
Right.
And she goes, well, they're just gonna offer it to the lead's daughter anyway. And I was like, okay. Well,
And then you take the time to learn.
Yes.
The most famous situation of that is they wanted Jack Nicholson to be the Joker in the 1989 Batman, but he wanted so much money. So they started talking to Robin Williams, and Robin Williams got excited.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm going to be the Joker. But that was just to get Jack Nicholson to lower his rate. Warner Brothers had no intention of giving Robin Williams.
Yeah.
They were also
dirty.
So Robin Williams, he was mad at Warner Brothers, and they asked him, "Hey, do you want to be the Riddler in Batman Forever?" And he was, "Not unless you apologize," and they didn't. And then back to Jim Carrey, who I guess he got the role because
they did a good job. It would have been
Yeah.
such a different version.
Yeah.
I think.
So what was your longest audition process for all of you, or longest or shortest, or what's the average length of time it usually takes to?
It can be
Like how many
very,
auditions?
very different.
Okay.
Depending.
sometimes you could audition for something and not hear back, or not have the next callback for a month later.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
But for me, the longest I did an ABC pilot that was 4 different rounds of auditions. I first went in and met with the casting, and then they call you back, you're gonna meet the producers, and then they bring you in to test for the studio.
Oh.
And at that point, that's the most intimidating thing. When you're gonna go test for the studio or network, they negotiate your contract in advance, and then, but they are bringing in, and that's so the agents can't say, oh, we want this much
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
money.
They
So
make
they-
you sign the contracts
Imagine
before you
that.
go
So
in.
it's like down to you and 3 other people,
Mhm.
and they negotiate your entire contract, so you can see how much you would be making. You can see how long
So
you would be
it'll change
working,
your life,
and it's a
basically,
contract
if-
for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
But there's no guarantee that you're gonna get it.
And then you're in the
already-
waiting room with 2 other people who also signed their contracts, and all 3 of us, we know we want it, and it's only gonna be one of us. And then, so I did this test for the studio, and then
Oh. So
are we
sorry.
done?
No, it's a pager.
Are you a
I can't-
doctor?
I'm a paramedic for, yeah.
Oh,
And
no,
then-
okay, then kinda.
Kinda,
Yeah.
for the ditches, and I can't turn that off, so it's gonna go
No,
on.
you shouldn't turn that off.
But then after the studio test, I got called, ooh, you're gonna come now test for the network. And I wondered, is it gonna be all 3 of us, or is it gonna be narrowed down to 2? And when I got there, it's still all 3 of us, and it's the most intimidating just thing. And thankfully, I was fortunate to be the one who got in.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, that's the worst. You get a pilot that is amazing, and it doesn't get picked up.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the longest I had was 6. Because they sprinkled in the same process where it was like the cast directors, producers. I think they did like a work session, which is basically just where they bring you back in and just kind of play with things. A lot of times they'll do that, like if a character's not working on the page, like the writers will kind of play with it, because the pilot, they're figuring it out. They're trying to figure out what the show's gonna be, and the characters are gonna be. So like they'll just basically work with you, and then I went in to test, and then I did a second test, and then I did network. So that was a long one, and then I didn't get that one. So that was so that was signing the contracts and being like, wow, this would really change my life, and then being like, all right, well, I'll just go back to
Never mind.
Never mind. I know there's a great story with, I think it's I'm so bad with names, so I'm not gonna remember his name. But it was for the details are gone. But basically he was like in a phone booth, that's how long it was ago, talking about how much money he was gonna make if he got this part, and he was looking at a McDonald's and he like couldn't afford to go get a burger. So he's like, it was thankfully he got the job, but like it was one of those things where a lot of times you're in that position where you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay my rent, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but then you're talking about all this mythical imaginary money that's supposed to happen. But.
Yeah, I think the most amount of auditions I went on for a single project was probably like 5, the most rounds, and that was probably for Corey in the House and Desperate Housewives. And it's the same thing. It's like you go in for your initial audition, and then you get brought back, and then it's producers, and then it's network, and again, it just, as the stakes get higher, the anxiety levels rise a little more.
Well, and I feel like what sucks too is that final audition is the stalest it's ever going to be.
Yeah.
Because the first audition, it's fresh, you haven't done it before, and now you've beaten it to the
Yes.
round, and you can't change anything.
I do remember for the Desperate Housewives one, I was horribly sick. So, and I don't know, like for me, when I'm really sick, I don't have the bandwidth for much else, because like your body's just fighting this virus. So I went in kind of not caring because I couldn't care,
That's nice.
and I had like a very deep raspy voice because I was losing it. So it ended up working out because I didn't feel as much anxiety. The pressure felt lower because I was just trying to survive.
And the ABC auditions are in a room about this size, and all of the suits who are the heads of the network are all sitting there watching and not really saying anything.
No, they don't say a
and they
word.
don't say anything, and you
And
just
they don't laugh either.
Oh yeah, they're just
You
dead.
might get like one chuckle in the back, and you're like, got him. Great.
and you're just doing your scene, and then you leave, and then
Yeah.
They're just like, thank you, great, okay, great.
You're like, cool,
All right.
I'll just go off myself in the parking lot.
Right. So how do y'all, I'm sorry, I'm from Louisiana, so I say y'all randomly.
That
But-
sounds like home to me.
How do y'all deal with like the rejection of it? Do you kind of have to make yourself get used to hearing no, and it's like, I'm gonna pick myself up and just go for the next one?
I think this is going to be a weird metaphor because it's coming from me, but it's not mine. I had an acting coach one time, and this was such, because it took me a long time. It took me a long time to not take it personally, especially since I was a kid actor. You just don't get it. You know what I mean? You're a kid, it feels personal, because it does to anybody. You know, it would to adults as well. But so I didn't have the tools because I was so young, which then I go into the whole like, should kids be actors? I don't know. But she said, she goes, look, they have a kitchen table for their house. They're looking for chairs for that kitchen table. You may not be the right chair. Doesn't mean you're not a good chair, doesn't mean you don't work, doesn't mean you don't make sense for someone else's table, just not their table. And I was like, okay. I was like, that it's a weird metaphor, but I was like, that makes a lot of sense. They're just trying to furnish their kitchen.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
And
sense.
I don't fit, and that's okay, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are times where you don't necessarily care because maybe the role wasn't super exciting, but then when you feel like that role is meant for you and the project is meant for you, it's painful, it hurts. And even when you develop really strong skin, because you have to, because being an actor means getting rejected over and over again with a couple of yeses that can change the trajectory of your entire life and career. So it's hard to not let that get to you sometimes, and you just kind of have to go through whatever your own process is. I will say though, there was a string. I was only booking kind of the same role, which was like the teenage rebellious bitch, sorry for my language, but I was not booking like the more interesting roles to me, but it forced me into starting to write. So I was like, if they're not going to give me that role, I'm going to make it myself. And then I fell in love with writing, and I thought to myself, I'm going to do this the rest of my life.
Right.
And then that translated into directing. And so it's just, I think sometimes you have to make your own opportunities. And that's the advice I always give to anybody who's kind of wanting to get started is don't wait for things to happen. Like, don't wait by your phone. You're going to drive yourself crazy. Get together with your friends and make stuff. If you want to act, or if you want to write, or if you want to direct, whatever it is, just start. I mean, our phones are so good these days. Like, you can really kind of learn everything on your own and get out there and make stuff.
And also just like have a very multifaceted life.
Yeah.
Because if you're distracted and doing a lot of other things, you're not going to be waiting for the phone to ring. Because statistically, I don't know how it is now because the whole business is different. And then I'll shut up, Josh, I promise. But because statistically, it used to be for every 50 auditions or 100 auditions, you would book one. So it's also exposure therapy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But rejection is always tough, especially the more you want it. Like, I auditioned for something with the Muppets, and was my dream. So that I want more than anything, but it doesn't always happen, and you get the ones you don't expect to get. But one of the things that really was just eye-opening and changed my whole view, there was an episode of Hannah Montana that I auditioned for, and I thought I was perfect for it. I prepared. I thought I did so amazing at my audition, and I didn't get it. And at first I was quite sad because I thought I put all this work in. I'm perfect for this role. And during the week that Hannah Montana episode filmed, I ended up auditioning for a show called Glee, which I then did book and did 21 episodes of. But if I got that episode of Hannah Montana, I would not have been available. I would have had to turn down that Glee audition, which ended up opening many more doors and being big. So now, like anything, if something doesn't work out, we're just available for something else, maybe something better. And I used to, what was it? I forget which way it was, but I'm used to rejection because I used to, in my single days, I get rejected for a living just as an actor. So it was good practice for.
I also I'm a big believer. I love that perspective, and I'm a big believer of like it wasn't mine. It was never mine. If I don't get it, it wasn't mine. It wasn't meant to be. It wasn't mine. Because I think we all probably have those moments of like, well, if I had gotten this, then this wouldn't have happened. You know, that kind of thing. So.
And just the way some things turn out too.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing too. Is like it's like God's protection, right? Is it's like you never know if someone's going to be really difficult on set, or if the project's not going to go, or which is even more heartbreaking, right? It's like if you get it, film it, and then it doesn't.
That is the hardest.
Heartbreak.
I think that's even harder than anything you audition for that you didn't get.
And you finally get it,
and
then it doesn't go further.
Yeah, and you're just like cool. So I had this really nice, like, wonderful, hopeful moment. I got to enjoy it, and then but that's.
Are there any questions out there? Yeah.
Mine's I'm gonna say your name wrong, and I apologize.
No worries, no worries.
For Maiara, when you worked on Spaceship Earth as Simone, what was it like with two very distinct different languages, or three really, because the Spanish, the English, and the American Sign Language, and interacting with Sean and all of the other actors on set using interpreters and different things like that? How did you navigate it? How did you feel? Did you like it? Was it something that helped you grow?
It was an incredible experience. I really loved it. I was bummed that my character didn't sign. I would have.
Me too, by the way.
Yeah, I would have loved to take classes and really learn and get to interact with the other characters who were using sign language more. And I felt like we were doing. I felt like we were part of something that was pioneering a new version of storytelling that really I feel like it really opened up a lot beyond that. So yeah, it was. I loved it. I absolutely liked being a part of that. And I don't think you were here earlier when I was saying that. I read the pilot to that script, and I didn't think it was going to get made. I wanted it to get made, but I didn't think that. I didn't think the networks would be open to a different way of storytelling, and yeah. So
well, again, they're always so resistant to new things.
Exactly.
I think with Marlene at the spearhead,
Yes.
it wasn't going to not be shut down. But
Yeah.
she wasn't going to let them say no.
Oh yeah.
I see the driving force she still has now with the movies on Apple TV and everything.
Absolutely.
The fact that she introduced captioning and they would just helped, and again, that's what I'm using right
Yeah.
now, because the interpreter backed out last night, was supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I wanted to ask, is like the fact that we didn't get to see you more exciting, but I loved seeing you on that show.
Yeah, it was really special.
It was
Like,
literally 3 different languages, because you had the Spanish side, the English side, and the American Sign Language all interacting at one time. So I was like, I wanted to know how that helped you grow.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I grew up in a multicultural family, so you know, I'm used to having different languages around. And again, I was just happy that something was going to be shown to a wider public, to just get people like, oh, like, what is this? You know, because these are all different facets of life and reality that people experience on a daily
I think
basis.
it really helped our community a lot.
100%. And I'm, again, that's why I'm so grateful I got to be a part of that. Yeah.
Any more questions? Yeah.
This is a question for mostly Jennifer Stone. I know there's a big stereotype about Disney Channel stars going crazy because they're exposed to fame at an early age. Not saying you're crazy or not, because I'm kind of out of the loop with Disney Channel stars. But what do you think causes it, and what do you think helps to help mental health in people that are
Sure,
involved
that's a
in that
great
industry?
question.
Thank you.
Because I mentioned before you guys came in of how like I still have my moments where I'm like I don't really know if I think that kids should be in the business, just because it's such, you're very much around adults who are not really kid friendly. You have to learn how to, you are there to perform, you are not there to be a kid. So there's a lot of elements to it. And then there's a lot of stuff that you're exposed to way too early before you have the tools to deal with it. So that I think is a part of it. Sadly, a lot of it's the parents. One of the reasons I don't seem crazy on the outside is because of my parents. Both of my parents, I'm the one who was the driving force. I was the one that wanted to do it. My parents are still like, you can quit anytime. And I'm like, I don't want to. You know, I love my job, as heartbreaking as the business can be. But they are very, you know, they wanted me to go to school. They wanted me to major in something different, which I did. And you know, I go home and ride 4-wheelers and put on my overalls. You know what I mean? So like they keep me really grounded, and they could give 2 hoots about the business. My dad literally calls it much ado about nothing. And he goes, hurry up and wait. That's that silly industry, you know, with his Texas accent. And I grew up around a lot of people whose parents were the driving force and the kids weren't really interested. Like I auditioned a lot with Jeanette McCurdy, and, you know, so seeing that example, seeing other examples with people where they just, the parents were they cared too much. They cared too much, and they put the fame and the success in the industry before their kids' needs, and that was never, my mom literally, the first season of Wizards is like, we can walk if you want to, because there was some stuff where like I wasn't being included in certain things, and as a 13-year-old girl, like that feels really personal, and that feels like I did something wrong. So that's, I think, a huge part of it is the parents are a bit too excited about it, and they're validating something in themselves rather than focusing on the kid.
So with Nickelodeon and Disney Channel, they're 2 competing studios. Did you see there was a lot of animosity between the people that were on Nickelodeon versus people that were on Disney Channel, or they just kind of knew each other?
No, I mean, I'm gonna sound like I'm bragging. I'm not. It's just that happened to be the venue. Like when we would go to the Emmys, for example, we would be around like Victorious and Drake and Josh and Sam and Cat and like all of those different Nickelodeon shows, and we would all, we're all just actors who are happy to have a job, you know what I mean? And like on this kind of weird ride together of like, we're teenagers and we have this like level of success that is not common for teenagers. So we had this kind of shorthand.
Yeah, I think it's more so just a connection, because you're at a young age. I mean, one of our best friends is Devin Werkheiser from Ned's Declassified. So I think it was more so just we're young.
It's understanding.
It's an understanding.
Yeah. So no, there wasn't any rivalry. Was more studio heads than us.
Yeah.
We have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions. Anyone else with a question?
Otherwise, we're just gonna ramble.
You'll make pilots and everything. Who's in charge of if it goes forward or not?
The studio.
The studio.
Yeah, they're the ones that make the final decision, because it used to be, and you guys jump in because again I'm rambling, but it used to be that like, let's say NBC would have 4 to 6 pilots a year. They would know they had slots for 2. And Disney used to be where they would have 2 a year and they would pick 1. So that's when we knew Selena, they wanted to make a thing because they put her in both. So they were like, we know she's gonna be, that's their next person. So yeah, it's the studio ultimately that makes
So
it.
I know they do like test screenings, and like sometimes in Vegas or Times Square, they'll say, hey, you wanna earn $50, and you watch a pilot, and they're given a dial, and if it's funny, you turn it to the right, and if it's not, which no one watches TV like that, but that's how they
Yeah.
pick up.
I
That's how they
didn't
decide.
know there was a dial.
There's the cards too. They do like the little like 1 to 10.
Like, are you
Do
laughing
like
and like as you're doing it, and it's like no one's watching TV measuring, but they're doing
That's
it.
so
But I was a test audience member
Were you
once
really?
for one of those things.
So wait, so you laugh and you turn it, or it catches you when you laugh?
No, you have to turn it.
That's so weird.
I don't think it's a good way to decide, but that's how, like, ooh, this show got turned up a lot, and this show only got turned up a few times, but in the last 5 minutes. But ooh, in the last 5 minutes, then maybe that means they want to watch more. And there's all this.
But it feels like a decibel meter would make more sense, because I know me, if I'm laughing, I wouldn't remember to do that.
Yeah, no, but that's when if you're being paid $50.
Well, sure. I mean, 50 big ones, you know.
But now I think, I don't know how much it is for TV, but in film, they will look at follower count on social media, which that's a whole new thing. Like, ooh, we could make this if this person, they have this many followers.
Which is so silly because it doesn't translate. That's been shown.
No, it doesn't translate, because someone who has 10 million followers, everyone's watching them for free on TikTok, and that doesn't mean, but the
Or
studio.
from home, they're not going to.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere, but the studio heads, they'll be like, ooh, if 10% of those people buy one ticket, but I think they're learning it doesn't work because they're not going out to buy it.
Yeah.
Especially if people are watching them for a specific thing. Like, I'm just watching you for this one funny series that you do. I don't care if you're gonna be on Netflix, you know, because I'm watching you dance around with grapes.
And it is it's true, but it is also an interesting thing as well, because they kind of mix sometimes with, especially when it's kind of the young adult genre. They seem to be mixing like actors with like content creators, which is an interesting mix because, you know, we come on set, we know how to hit our marks. Like especially Disney, like they train us well, you know. And so like we're very on it, very professional. We know how to do it. Content creators, nothing against them, they're just not trained, you know, because they're doing it all themselves at home. So, I mean, I've had friends on set with like different like social media people, and they're like, "What's a mark? What do you mean?" Like they're just they're learning on the job, you know, which you can do. It's just kind of an interesting dichotomy to have somebody who's very like well versed in it and someone who's like brand new.
Yeah, I did a terrible indie film with a big social media guy, and he would call cut.
Oh no!
Usually only the director calls cut. But he did it, and he would start to, because when you're doing your own YouTube, you're the director, and no one liked him. Everyone.
Well, but there is a thing where it's like that. I don't know if you've had this experience with them too, because they get fame so quickly. They don't kind of go through that struggle process, because I find that the longer you kind of struggle and really work for it, you're so appreciative, you're so humble, like you're just grateful to have a job. Like I was saying with like the Disney and Nick people, we're just happy to be there, you know. But when it comes so quick, you get really big for your britches. You start to think it's the 15-minute people have the egos.
Yeah, I noticed reality, adult performers, and social media all have. And I guess because they're all adored so much right to their face.
Yeah.
Not to their face, but yeah, they're.
Yeah, hopefully not the adult performers.
No, but I guess they're getting. I guess they receive messages about how wonderful they are.
Yeah, we receive things.
All the. But yeah. But I think actors tend to be more humble, but then the people in reality or whatever.
Well, it's just the difference of fame quickly versus like really having to work for it. I'm so sorry, Josh. I'll just stop talking.
No, you're great.
Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead.
How do you feel about canned laughter in sitcoms? Like the laugh tracks that play, what's your opinion on that? Like the move that play? Use either of you.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've just never been someone that's really into sitcoms, because I like those single camera comedy, I love dark comedy, I love like really grounded tones. So I think at first for me it was very jarring and strange. Also, you also have a live audience once a week.
Yeah.
And that part's fun, because it's basically it's like theater. Yeah, you're like doing a play and you get the engagement of the crowd. I personally would never use a laugh track in like my personal projects that I make, but I understand the
Yeah.
benefit of them sometimes.
It's kind of an old hat thing, I find.
Do they still do that now?
I think
I think
for
Like the-
4-camera sitcoms.
Yeah,
so
so they still have them
Yes.
in 4-camera
Yeah,
sitcoms.
yeah.
Okay.
because there's 2 different kind of sitcoms. I'll just like go in to explain that really quickly. So like a Office, for example, do you see how the pacing's a little slower? That's a single camera. They have more time. Those tend to not have the laugh tracks. The 4-camera, so like your Big Bang Theories, your Friends, that would be 4-camera, and it's more punchy and formulaic and like the joke, set up joke. That one tends to have the laugh track. Disney was strange because we had the live performances, but then they would record the laughter from the live performances and then layer, the laugh track that they've had since this is a weird Jen fun fact, but like they would layer the what they recorded in like the 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
So like all the laughter, all those people are dead that you're listening to. Like, that's the weird Jen fun fact. But like
That's cool.
that's what I always think
Yeah.
of. Yeah, so the laugh tracks you
Yeah.
hear, like it's they just use the same one. Yeah, you're hearing ghosts essentially.
That's the thing, because I'll hear the
Most
laugh track
of-
over and over in Disney Channel sitcoms.
They're the same.
Yeah, they
There's
are,
like
yeah.
there's like I'm gonna screw up the cadence because it's like a caca, like it has a certain like sympathy. It's not that at all. But like there's a certain
Do you want
cadence.
to go one more time?
I'm gonna punch it. But like there's a certain cadence, and I hear it every time. I'm like, oh, it's that weird laugh track because there's like one really unique laugh on it.
I thought he just went to all the tapings, that guy.
He'd be making a lot of $50. A lot of $50.
Same guy.
But only one of my Wizard episodes was taped in front of a live audience because I
Oh,
was
that's
usually on the other
right.
sets, like the Wizard School.
Yeah, because you had all the really complicated ones.
And so I only had an audience one time. So
It's
I-
fun.
Which episode did you
like it?
The Hughes Not Normus.
Oh, that's right. All your big.
Did you like the
stuff.
live audience?
Yeah, no, 'cause I grew
Yeah,
up
that's
doing
fun.
theater
Yeah.
and so I loved. That was fun. I wish we had it more, but yet we were on other sets
Yeah.
that were not in front.
Yeah, you had to have a lot of patience because there was a lot of like the technical stuff, a lot of like the special effects on your episodes.
Well, people said I have patience, but I always think I'm on set of a TV show. I'm living the dream. I don't care if I'm here 14 hours.
Sure.
Like, and I never understood. I remember when on one of my first commercials, people were complaining, and I was
Isn't
like,
that crazy?
"But I'm living the dream. Why are you complaining? We're
Where
the
you gonna
luckiest
go?
people in the
Yeah.
world."
It's so sad.
And now with so much time of not working or slow, I bet those people would not
Yeah.
complain about a 14-hour day.
Well, mine saw me when I was fresh off of Disney, and I needed some humbling. I did. I was very big for my britches, but in the sense that I was like, I'm gonna go do my ABC Family show, and then I'm gonna go do my ABC show, and I'll do movies in between. And life was like, that's hilarious. You're not gonna do any of that. I remember you said to me, I don't even know if you remember this on set with Mean Girls, where I can't even remember what I said because it's been 16 years and I can't remember what happened 16 minutes ago. But you had said something. I had said something in passing where I was like, "Oh, well, it's Disney Channel. It's not real acting, whatever, something." And you were like, "No, like it's." We were lucky to be there. Like, be really grateful. Like, telling you someone who's been kind of on the other side for a little bit. Like, I've been on that other side now for a while and seeing other people kind of do that same thing. But I really appreciated you kind of giving me perspective.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't remember that. But
I honestly don't either because I gave 0 details.
But it does make sense because I remember our show kind of got cut short. And I remember by the second season is when I had really just committed to the larger than life sitcom, the fun of it. And then, you think something might go on for like 4 or 5 years.
When then it was, you got it guaranteed for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, to then realize it doesn't always work out that way. It's like my whole thing now is just appreciate everything you have while you have it, whatever it is.
Love
No,
that.
that's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Do you guys have any other final thoughts on anything? Or-
On life itself.
yeah, anything. Any
Or ghost laughter.
big, ghost laughter, big existential questions that we've been wondering about.
Why is I born?
The answers to the
What were you gonna
universe.
say?
I love that Maiara told you something that she doesn't remember, but it had an impact on you. And I think in life, the smallest thing, the smallest interaction that we have with someone that we might forget, whether it's just smiling at a stranger or holding the door open, "Oh, have a great day," or "Oh, I like your bag," or "I like your shirt," because that person could be having the worst day. And I think it goes so far. And I just, so hearing that, I think it's so, and I think about that all the time. And I just want to spread kindness and just pass along kindness.
But I think it's something where it's like we have those kind of inclinations, those little pushes. I don't know if you guys have that too, where you're going through your day, you see somebody, you're like, oh, I really want to say something. And then we get in our own way where we're like, oh, that's weird. I don't want to be weird. Always say something. Always say something. Because you're absolutely right. You never know how far that's going to ripple, what the other person's going through. So whenever you get that little voice in your head being like, just say something.
Say something,
Always.
say something. See something,
Well,
say
that's
something.
a different thing.
Oh, wait, what?
I think that's reporting when like bad things happen.
I think I mixed it all up.
No, that's it. It's good. It's good. It's good.
A
Yeah.
suspicious backpack, you know.
Yeah. I think, what is it, airports?
Airports, yeah. Well, it could work in life,
Yeah,
you
if
know.
you see a bomb, say something, and if you see a nice dress, say something.
Yeah, or the nice shoes, you know, like,
Or the
oh,
nice
that's-
shoes,
I like
yeah.
those purple shoes. A teacher that always said that. Compliment their shoes first and then say something.
Why their shoes?
He goes, that's the best way to their heart. And that's what he said.
It's
His
kind
shoes.
of
Who said
it's
that?
kind of like when you see a baby that's, you know what I'm saying. When you see a baby,
It's a
and
kind of
God bless
potato.
them, you know.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, I'm
That's
sure
a
they're
baby.
just the sweetest thing.
Yeah.
Just
What
so
cute
sweet.
energy.
Yeah. And they got really nice clothes.
Yeah,
They're shiny little
for sure.
feet.
But I've always been told you can say, like, nice shoes and then tell them something like a criticism. And then it, like,
Oh, so
softens
yeah,
the
Oh,
that's
you're
blow.
talking about
Yeah,
the
compliment
compliment
sandwich.
sandwich.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Punches.
It's true. Or just compliment people. You don't have to.
Yeah, it is good.
True.
I would, last thing I'll say, just to piggyback on everything you're both saying, I think life in general is super, like, there are great moments, but life for everyone is challenging. And you can't be alive and survive to the point that you're here now without those challenges. And I think that what I love about movie making and movies and shows is that it connects us to each other and helps us feel seen in those times that maybe we are experiencing something really difficult, or if we need to escape because we're going through a hard time, and we can just laugh or like jump into a fantasy world, and for those 2 hours we forget about whatever's going on in our own lives and gain some perspective on it. So, you know, and I agree just about being kind to one another, because life is not always easy. We're all going through something.
Well, what is it that like you never? I'll get my brain checked. It's fine. But the whole thing of like everyone's fighting a hidden battle you don't know anything about.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think keeping that in mind.
Yeah.
We don't know what they're dealing with. I wished a guy a good day once, and he said, "Don't tell me what to do." It was in a Trader Joe's parking lot.
Oh. Well, you can't win them all. You can't win them all. That's okay. But if 80% comes back with good returns,
In New York or
then-
LA or?
LA and Sherman Oaks.
You don't
They don't have
compliment
money for
shoes,
Trader
that's
Joe's.
what-
No, I think he held the door open for me.
Oh.
Oh, thank you. Have a good day. He he
No,
did not want.
Okay.
Maybe he was going to a funeral. I don't. And
He wanted a
Somebody
bad
played
day.
it in his cereal. That's okay. Don't worry.
You can have the day you deserve.
I used to have a
That
badge
is a
railer listener
response.
saying that said that.
I hope you have the
Day
The day you deserve. Yeah. Because you meet lovely people and you meet terrible people, and both are you get what you put out.
I worked with people that would have how that gets stuck up there, and they'd have like different.
I
you know,
fell on it. Yeah.
I fell on it.
It's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
I fell on it. I was
Yeah.
like, why were you doing hand? There, I had a lady once. Sorry, this is a terrible way to leave people on this, but here we go. I had a lady once. It was like when I was working night shift at the hospital. It was like 4 a.m. and she came in with something stuck up there. It's always got to have a base.
Oh God.
And she said she was drunk, and she said she was doing handstands and fell on it. I was like, girl, why are you doing handstands at 4 a.m.? Why are you drinking and doing handstands at 4 a.m.?
Maybe it's for our TikTok.
Maybe it was for her TikTok. Maybe she's trying to get those numbers up so she can get cast.
That's what I have to do.
Yeah, but be nice, be kind. Let's not leave it on that. I'm so sorry.
My best friend.
Yeah, she knows. She knows.
Do y'all still get starstruck with
Oh,
other
yeah.
celebrities?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, like Josh was talking about, like being at the Golden Globes, like that. It's a tier system. You know, we have different tiers of it. So yeah, we definitely have people that we get excited about. Who would you get excited about?
I'd have to think about that. I don't really get starstruck. I
Right,
have,
well,
I have,
everyone
I have
might
like
have.
random people who I
I
get
do too.
excited to see
Okay.
or like meet.
Does anyone know Inside the Actors Studio?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I saw James Lipton at like some random red carpet, and I got so excited, and everyone did not know who he was. And I was like, do you know who that is? Because I used to watch Inside the Actors Studio all the time. He might have passed now.
He did pass.
Okay.
He was much older than I thought. He was
Yeah,
like
no, he's-
89 or something,
Yeah,
and I was like,
yeah.
what? He looked. Yeah, he was with.
Yeah, he lived a crazy life, but I was so excited no one else knew who he was. So it is those weird
Yeah.
people like that.
Yeah.
I think it's always exciting. I grew up watching movies and TV. I can't believe I made it into, like, anytime I'm on set, like, I'm in the TV. How is this possible? then it's still very exciting. There's people downstairs. Like Home Alone is one of my favorite movies, and a bunch of the people from Home Alone are here. And it's like I never, like little me who first watched Home Alone when I was 6 or 7, never would have imagined.
Yeah.
And it's just very surreal. And it's, it's not stuff that I can't speak. Like I'm not shaking, I'm so nervous, but it's like, oh wow, this is cool. I would never have guessed this.
I think it tends to be more like the comfort stuff. So like the stuff like you mentioned when you're having a bad day, and the show that you watch or the movies that you think, those kind of comfort things. And I'm sure you guys feel that too, because we all have those. Those are the people, because in your hardest moments, they've been there. So, but
That was a very nice wrap up there.
Yeah.
Great.
All right, well, thank you guys for coming.
Of course, thank you all for being
And
here.
thank you.